Hello. Hi, everyone. Happy day before Thanksgiving. I hope this finds you well. If you're new here, my name is Michelle Adamas. I'm the owner of Vintage Revival Design Co., and I'm in Northern Virginia. And I thought we would just squeeze in a little project before we all get on to the festivities of Thanksgiving if you're in the US. And anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And if you are seeing the red button at the top, it means we're live. And if it's not up there, then you're watching on replay. And I appreciate that too. Be sure to leave your comments or questions, and I will be sure to answer them as soon as I possibly can. I'm just going to make sure that I can see your comments. So, 1 second. I'm going to pull that up. And there we go. All right. So if you do pop on, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I have a fun little project. We have done baskets before, but I find that they are so easy to find in the thrift stores, or maybe you just have old ones that you're not using. And I thought we'd turn this into a little Christmas decor project. And so, good morning, Sheila. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for saying hello. Happy Thanksgiving. And so I have this little wall basket. It is about, let's see, 5 inches wide, and it is about, with to the handle, it's about 11 inches tall. And so we are going to be decoupaging today. We're going to be using the wonderful Roycycled papers, Roycycled treasures. And so I'm going to be using a piece of the holiday patterns paper. This is a great paper because you actually get two patterns on one sheet, and I'm only using a bit of the plaid pattern, but you also get this ticking, which is really nice. They make great backgrounds for things. And then I think my favorite paper from the fall release is the Christmas postage. And so we're going to be using this as well. And I have some paints and that type of thing. But the first thing that I want to do is decoupage this paper over my basket. I am going to be doing a little treatment to the rim and the handle and probably the bottom. I'm not too crazy about the natural wood finish on this. And so I'm going to do something. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see it all together and then we'll get going. So I actually am going to decoupage starting in the back of mine, and I'm going to leave this whole length of paper. So what I did was I cut out the half of the decoupage tissue that had this plaid pattern on it, and then I actually cut that in half. So it was plenty. So you've got a lot to work with these papers. So I'm going to start it out, and then I'm going to turn it over and see if I'm going to get anything straight. I will. So it's going to be a little wonky back here, but we're just going to go for it. Okay. And so to decoupage this onto my basket, I'm going to be using plastic wrap, and I'm going to be using a little water-based medium. And I'm just going to put that on here, and I'm going to coat my basket. I'm going to just start in one area. So I'm going to kind of come down here and apply my medium to my basket. Just, it might leak a little bit in there, but it's going to dry clear. And so I'm really not worried about that, but I just want to get this started, and I'll work in smaller sections as I go along. So because it's woven, it can take a little bit to, get this in there. You want to make sure you have good coverage so that your paper is adhered really well. So I'll go heavy on the medium, and I'm not going to mist my paper to stretch it. I don't feel like I need to do that. I may be wrong. We'll definitely find out as I do this. But also because the weaving or the reed is a little porous, it's going to soak some of that medium up. So again, I'm going to go heavy on my medium, and we're just going to get that started. So hopefully I've got enough where I want it, and I'm going to tear my paper when I get to the back side here. But for now, I'm going to lay this down. I'll do my hands first, and then I'm not even painting this basket white first. It'll give it a little age. Some of the color of the basket is going to show through. If that's not what you're wanting, you could always do a coat of white paint on your basket first. And so now we're just going to work our way around the edge. I'm going to pull back a little bit. Let me pull this little bit out here. Since I'm right-handed, it'll make it easier for me to work with. So I'm just going to continue to do this, and we're going to get this on here, and we'll smooth it out as we go along. And the decoupage paper is just such a pretty way to cover something that you're not really happy with, and it just gives it a whole new look. I love these little florals in the in baskets. I like to use them for that. They're just really cute to have around, and they make a sweet little decoration. So we've done bigger baskets together before. I am going to actually need to come up a little bit because I am missing some of that. So it's not going to cover so I'm going to start up a little higher and see if it's still going to be a little, I may have to I wanted to start in the back, but we're going to change plans because I'm more concerned about getting the whole pattern onto the sides, and I can do the back. So we're going to just do a switch and go ahead and start in the front. So sometimes you just don't know until you get in there and you try it. So we're just going to, adjust on the fly, and that's okay. You could also do a spray adhesive on something like this, but I find that with the decoupage paper, getting it to actually conform to the weaving is it's easier for me to work with a water-based medium. And so I'm going to do that. But you could use Mod Podge or whatever you have. I'm just going to make sure I get a really nice coat here. And we'll just go ahead and do this again. So when something doesn't work, we just try again, right? So we're going to do this. And I really thought, Sheila, that I would be creating by myself today. It's so nice to have you here always, not just today, but always. And because I thought, everybody's, probably getting all their stuff together for Thanksgiving. And I'm going to start a little bit of prep when I finish this live. Okay, I think I've got enough here. And so let's go ahead and try this a little bit differently. So let me line this up here along my rim, and let's see how we do if we do it that way. I may be okay. I don't know. Let's just see how we do. I probably could have cut it in a little bit of a different shape, or maybe not cut it to the size that I did. So I'm going to push this in. And then to really get it to adhere, I'm going to I usually wait till I have all of my paper applied before I go in and do this part, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. We're going to see. But you can see that the paper is, the color of the weaving is showing up underneath a little bit. And like I said, you could just paint it white or another color if that's not what you wanted. But I was okay with that for this. So I want to be a little careful here. And then I'm just going to gently use my plastic wrap, again, just to get that to go into the weaving of the basket. When I've done larger baskets, I usually cut my paper into strips, but I really wanted to be able to use this plaid pattern. I think it looks so pretty with the postage. So let's get some more on here, and I'll wait to cut my paper when I get to the back. And if I can avoid having to sand around that lip, that's going to be super helpful. And I left enough at the bottom so that I'm hoping that when I get to the bottom, I'll be able to tuck that under. But if not, we'll address it with some paint. So I'm going to pull back a little bit. This is a really porous basket. I probably should have sprayed it with a spray sealer before doing this, but I didn't. So, okay. All right. Let's do this, and I'll just kind of smooth this out. I don't want to tear my paper, but I'm going to kind of pull a little bit as I go. I might have a little bit of a wrinkle there. Can smooth it out a little bit. We can always do a little aging and disguise that if we want to. All right, so this has got medium on it there. So we're almost there. We're going to get to this side. It's really soaking it up. Really, really soaking it up. So this may not have been the best. So my advice on something like this is, and next time I do something like this where it's so porous, I have no idea how old this little basket is to spray it, seal it with a sealer first before doing this. And I'm just getting my medium in there. We're going to do this. Okay, all right, let's cross our fingers and hope this turns out okay. I usually do strips because they're easier to work with on something like this. So not only are we working with a weave, but we're working with a pattern and one sheet of paper. All right, let's turn this down now. I'm going to put this, make sure I've got a little sticker sheet so it's nonstick. So let's work with that. I'll lay that down there since I have some wet medium here. Yes. Hi, Dawn. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving. I did on my YouTube channel, Sheila, there is a how to decoupage a basket video. It's an older one. And, but I did a large wall basket with that and with decoupage. And I think I used the floral burlap on it and it turned out great. And so I really love that basket. And it really did. It turned out beautifully. But I cut the paper, I wet cut my paper in strips, excuse me. Excuse me. So, Dawn, I'm so glad to see you here. You must be off work today. All right, so let's go around a little bit. I'm going to have to embrace some wrinkles, you guys. Okay, and let's get a little bit more. Maybe if I did mist my paper, it would help a little bit just to conform. Maybe we'll try that on the other side for experimentation. If this turns out great, I can put it in the store. If it doesn't, I have a new Christmas decoration for myself, and that'll be okay. So but these baskets are just so, I mean, there are bins of them at the Salvation Army thrift store near me. And so I'm going to go just a little bit further, I think, here. And then we'll bring this side over. So I'm going to go ahead and cut away a little of this paper. And I'll wet cut the other side. And we'll do it that way. See if this works. So yeah, Sheila, you might find it helpful. We did a great big one all the way around, and it was rounded or is rounded. And I don't know, I may let it go, but I really love it. And the floral burlap paper is so, it's not seasonal like this one's going to be. So I liked that I could just use it year round. And it's got a really nice neutral color that goes with the, so you can see, I guess it is better to do it at the back because the stripes are going to get a little wonky as they go around this curve, but they're straight in the front. And so I guess since this is really going to hang on a wall, that would be more important to me, that the stripes be straight. So we're going to come to about here. It looks like it's going to join. So I think I'm going to go, how do I want to go? I think I'm going to cut about here just to make it, and I'm going to do a wet cut down on this side so that, I mean, it is striped, so they're going to show, it's going to show anyway, but I'm going to come up about here. And so I'm just taking a brush and dipping it in some water, and we're going to just do a little, then the paper tears super easily. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to kind of, let's see if I can come where that's going to meet. I'm going to kind of come down here and see what I get, just so that it isn't wrapping over toward the front. Okay, so that's going to be okay. My stripes do not line up in the back, but nobody's going to see that until you pick it up. But while it's hanging on the wall, nobody's going to see it. And so I am okay with that. So let's get this part done. We're going to come back here. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit, and we'll go here again. I'm going to work with that, and then we're almost done with that piece. So I thought the little Christmas postage would be a pretty little detail in the front of this. I just love the designs, and that I don't know. I like vintage postage and postmarks and postcards and all of that anyway. So I was really thrilled when that paper came out. So you're working from home. Good for you, Dawn. Good for you. That's really nice. Are you staying home for Thanksgiving, or are you traveling today or tomorrow? We are staying home. Our granddaughter and son and daughter-in-law will be spending Christmas with us this year. And so they came to visit last weekend, and we had a lot of fun. And so it's going, my younger son is working the evening of Thanksgiving, and Stan and I will be too, because the turnover for the store, we have been asked to have all of the fall out of the store by Friday morning when it opens. So we decided we could either go really early Friday morning to the store, or we could do it Thanksgiving night. And so we're going to go ahead and make a run out to the store sometime tomorrow night and take care of that. And then I don't know if you guys will be interested in this, but I am going to be doing my very first show or sale on a platform called Whatnot. And I don't know if you've heard of it, but I am going to do my first show on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'll post the link. I'm still trying to get things loaded into the store or the online space. And so when I do that, I will post a link. And if you've never shopped, if you're brand new to Whatnot, there'll be a link for you to spend. It'll give you $15 to spend on there if you want to. And you don't have to shop. You can just come on there and say hello and hang out. And, oh, that's nice. So you're going to see your daughter and your brothers. So that's really nice, Dawn. That's a whole lot of good food. So, okay, we're almost done here. So anyway, I'll post the link, and if you'd like to come over, I'm going to have some, I've got Christmas decorations, both handmade and vintage inspired, and handmade, and what else? I've got some supplies, and it's just a little bit of this and that or whatnot, I guess, just all kinds of little whatnots. And I'm going to give that a go and see how it goes. All right. So we're going to do this last piece right here. And then we'll go around. I got a lot of wrinkles on this side. So this is a little challenging, you guys. Let's do this. I think I got it. We're just going to go to the back here. And all I really care about is that that front looks really good. So I'm going to seal this. This time it didn't hug the reeds as well as it did on that larger basket that I did. So this is a little bit, you can see it's starting to dry. So we still have some of that weaving, which I like. And so that's a little, I like that. Okay. So I'm going to seal that. Now what I want to do on the bottom is I'm going to cut this little bit off right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some little slits around the bottom. And that's going to help me go over that curved area. It's a little wet right there still, because what I really want to do is just kind of tap that under, tuck that under. So I'm going to come in here at the bottom. You can see that. And then you're going to set the alarm. Oh, that's great. Well, you'll also, when I post the event on Friday, you can go to the page or go to the app, and it will give you a, you can say, notify me. So save and notify me. And you'll see that it's different. So there were a lot of sellers on Whatnot that had names close to mine, like Vintage Revival Design Co. Or Vintage Revival this or that. And so I went ahead and my Whatnot seller name is Found and Flourished, because I'm going to be doing all kinds of things on there. And so I thought that was good. So it's kind of vintage finds or store finds. Some of the things I'm selling that I also sell in the store. I've got a few retired decoupage papers on there that I'll be adding more. Right now, I only have 2 things loaded, and that's 2 decoupage papers. And I thought I've got a good price on those. So those are actually below retail on those. And so I've got stuff like that. So I just went around the house and grabbed some things, and I thought, yeah, I could let these go, or, something like that. I wanted to do my fall clearance, but I don't know. Tell me what you think, Dawn and Sheila. I think it's a little too late to do a fall clearance because people are doing, they're all into Christmas. I know some people buy decor after the season because they get great deals on it, but I think we're going to do that. So here's what I've done. I've just tucked it under. So it's a little messy, but again, when you hold up the basket, you're not going to see that. So I'm really pretty pleased because our stripes are pretty, straight right here, right? So I thought that was pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just dry this up really quickly, and then we're going to get on to the next step. I'm going to have a little bit of gluing to do up at the top, but I think that's okay. I just want to dry this up a little bit. So I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. I like that it still looks very much like a basket. And, oh, you watched Royce. Yes, Royce has been really gracious with her, sharing her experience and tips and tricks for going live on the platform. I'm really nervous because I haven't been on the platform live, but I've heard that they're very, very kind and friendly over there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to dive in and see how it goes, but I'm hoping to do those on a regular basis. So I thought, all these things that we make live together, I thought I could, sell those, and then I have extra supplies. And like one of the things is, those metal magnet boards that I've made. I don't know if you remember, and they're just like these little metal pin boards or something like that. And I've decoupaged them a couple of times and then make little magnets out of cabinet squares. Well, I have a few of those left over. And I thought I'm just going to offer the ones that I have as a little kit. And so you'd get the canvas squares and the magnet squares and the metal board and that type of thing. So I thought that could, I've got one little spot down here that I'm going to do, but that's dry enough and it can finish drying. So let me go ahead and just fill in. I've got to put my glasses on because I'm not sure what I did. You think that the fall people will be looking for deals? Maybe I can try it. We'll see. Thanks, Dawn. I wasn't sure, but since I'm going to go pick up the stuff in the store tomorrow anyway, I thought, why not? I'm going to have to just touch that up with a little ink or something right there. I'm not sure what I did right there. All right. So here's our basket. I'm glad you like it, Sheila. And so I'm going to set that here. So I'm working with this. This is going to go on the front. And you can see one of the things about the Christmas postage is that you get this little white paper here. But I'm going to show you a quick trick if you haven't seen that before. What I do is I line it up. I put it either a piece of printer paper or something like that. I can't find my regular office hole punch, but this is a 1/4 inch hole punch. And so I'm only putting this cardstock or a piece of paper here to give the decoupage tissue a little stability. And then I am going to line that up just like that. So you can see these little white marks right here. I'm going to put and punch. Line it up as best as you can. And so then you end up having it, and it definitely looks like a stamp. So I'm tired of hearing about my schedule too, Sheila, but I'm just taking it one day at a time, and it's all going to be good. All right. So I have this, and it's got a little bit of sticky stuff on it, but I'm going to go ahead and mist this before we apply it to our basket. And do I need to mist it? I don't think I'm going to mist it. I'm going to put a little bit of white paint. I've got these. I'm slowly moving over to condiment bottles from the FIFO bottles because they get all these gunky things on them. Gunky is my new word today. So I'm going to go ahead and put some water on here. And I've got medium on I have medium on here too. So I'm just going to mix some of that in the medium. And I'm going to go on the back of this and just do a light coat of white. I'm going to hold it down so that I don't flip my paper up and get white on the front of it. If I do, it's not the end of the world. I really meant to ink this before I got started, but I didn't. So I'm going to dry this. I think you guys, there's always a workaround, right? There is just always a workaround, but I don't want my plaid to come through the design of my postage. And I'm trying not to move my paper around because sure enough, I'm going to end up moving it in that paint. So I'm going to try to hold it going in one direction, kind of away from it, so that I'm not going back and forth. I may end up with a little bit of white, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll ink it. We'll do something. Okay, so I'm going to carefully lift this, and I'm going to turn this. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? I'm just going to hold it in my hand, and we're going to dry it because I've just got paint all over that. So I love the postage stamp paper. So another video that I have on YouTube is when I used the new designs from Roycycled Treasures. It is, holiday decor with the new Roycycled decoupage. But I did a large wall ornament and a letters to Santa with the Santa image from the postage. And then I also did an advent calendar for the refrigerator, actually. All right, so this is dry enough now, and it's a little it's a little crinkly, and I did get a little white here. So I'm going to set this aside. Let me make some room for myself. And I have a little ink here. And I think because of the gray and the black, I'm going to use this. This is archival ink. This is a distress ink. And I'm just going to go over the edges here and just make this pop a little bit more. I do have one of these little things. I can't find my little, it's got like a little tool that you attach these to, but that's okay. So I'm going to go over this white. I got a little bit of white paint on the edges, even though I tried to be super careful. So we're just going to ink this up. Let me see if I can do it a little faster like this. I could use my makeup brush or something like that, but I'm just going to go and kind of frame this out, and it'll make it pop even a little bit more. Yes, Sheila, it's on YouTube. I think next week, I'm just going to do a kind of link to the holiday projects that I already have on there. And so if you want to wait for that, you can, but, or I'll try to share like an in case you missed it kind of thing on my Facebook page, so you can get right over there and go straight to it. I have a lot of content on YouTube, and I think I need to work on my thumbnails and my titles, because I have been naming them kind of with the technique, but not really what they are. So I'm working on that. There's always things I'm always learning, like, how do I improve this? How do I improve that? So I will get to that so you can see it. They were really fun projects to make, not difficult, and fun. So, and it was all with the decoupage papers, and I think I did some raised stenciling, and I used the let's see, what are the papers I used on that video? I used the Christmas journal. I think I used one of these holiday pattern papers. I used the tattered tapestries paper, the one that looks like an Oriental or Moroccan rug, that paper, which I think is really beautiful. Some raised stenciling, and then I used the Santa image from the Postage. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to attach this guy to the front, and then we're going to go ahead and address the this stuff up here. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to need a new brush and just medium. And I'm not going to risk, I'm going to slide this over because I've got white paint on there, and I know myself well enough to know I'm going to get my brush in that. All right, let me get another brush. Here's another brush. All right, so let's get some medium out, and let's get this guy on. So I'm just going to go over the front here, add a little tear right here, but I think we can address that too. And I'm going over the whole thing here. I know I'm supposed to go in sections, but I feel like this is small enough that I'll be okay. And I'm super happy that I think this little postage stamp is going to cover up some of my wrinkling in the front. Okay, so let's do this. Got that. And then I'll lift on the edges where I need it. All right, so let's just go ahead and carefully, let me see where the front is. The handle is a little funky, so I'm just going to use this as the front. I'm going to center that, and I'm going to start in the middle with my plastic wrap. Could have done a little cut. We need to get some more on the edge over there. I didn't go far enough. I love this plastic wrap. I don't know if you remember this, Dawn, but at my retreat in October that you were at last October, remember I was using that, I had all that Dollar Tree plastic wrap, and everybody was saying, oh, you need to get the Costco plastic wrap and you'll have it forever. I still have it. And so you guys were so right. And it's so much nicer to work with. Who knew that plastic wrap could be a thing? All right. So we've got this here. I've got a little bit. I want to get these edges, and I've got a little bit of lifting right under here. So I'm going to push that in with my brush, kind of let that soak in. Get that where I have lifting. All right, let's go ahead and get our top coat on here. We'll dry that up a little bit, and then we'll go to the next step of the basket. So I really like how this is turning out. I think the papers look really pretty together, and I like that. She's really great about when she comes out with new designs. She said this to us, and you hear it, but it's when you see it. So she's really brilliant about her colors coordinating. So she doesn't, it's not a one-off color, but that's why so many of her papers work so well together, why you can pair them so well, because her colorways are often just so consistent. All right, so we've got that. Let's dry this up a little bit, and then we're going to do the bit on, let's change the color of the basket where it shows up. Do you think we need to? I kind of think I need to. I want to darken it up a little bit. And I have some paint. I don't know. Should we do a metallic, like a dark metallic, or should we do, I'll show you what I've got, and we can decide. I wanted to do a little shimmer in the stamen of the poinsettia, but I think we're going to get this going and see what we think first. And then I think I'm going to use a little pewter metallic around, because the ink is still showing up a little white on the edges. So I'm going to see if I can't fix that a little bit. But we'll go ahead and do the reading first and then see what we've got. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to put that in there, even though I'm probably going to need it. So I have this earth color, and then I also have this like rich espresso. So maybe I'll just do a little bit of dry brushing of this. But let's go ahead and do this earth color. Let's see if I can get that to come out. Is it stuck right there? I might have a little thing. Might have to just come out here and pour a little out. It's a little gunked up in the lid, so I'm just going to pour a little out here. Okay, and I'm going to mix it with a bunch of water. And so we're going to do more of kind of a stain. So I'm going to spray this paint with water. I can't believe I'm wearing white today and no apron and not doing this. So let's see if this works the way I think it will. I just want to darken it up. I may need a little more paint. I may have too much water. I kind of want to darken it up. Could have used stain. And I don't mind that it's getting on the top, but I really just wanted to, and weaving can take a little time to do. And I don't mind if it goes at the top of the paper a little bit, but I do like that it's a little darker. That's kind of what I'm going for. And I'm just pushing that in. And moving that there. And just so you can use your paint as a stain. If it's a porous kind of paint, you can mix a little bit of water in it. And this is where the porous basket weaving is working in my favor because it's really soaking that up as a stain. So I liked this brown. This is Earth by Wise Owl Paint. And it's because it does have a little bit of a hint of gray. So it's more of a gray brown. And I like that. So I thought it would work well with the paper since there's that kind of charcoal color in the paper that I like so much. So just watered down paint, kind of get in all those grooves. If I miss something, I can go back, but I want you to get the gist of it. Okay. And we'll do that. I'll probably do the inside lip as well, but let's go ahead and get this part done. And then I can finish it a little bit later. We'll go on to the other parts of this. I like that much better, don't you? A little metallic, then we will do that. We'll add. I really like this. It's just a deco art metallic, but it's a really pretty brown bronze. So it's like a darker bronze, and I like it a lot. So I definitely like this darker color, and I'm going to go around the rim a little bit here too. I like the color of this much better than the natural. It just wasn't a pretty natural color. It just looked raw and kind of unfinished, but not in a good way to me. So I'm just going to do the inside of this lip since we're here, and we'll dry brush a little of the metallic, and then I'll add a little bit of that metallic, I think, to the stamen of I think I'm calling that right. It's the stamen, right? All right, so we've got that. That's much, much better. We just missed a couple of spots. So that's much better. And now I want to address around here. And so I'm going to use, this is a pewter metallic. This is a matte acrylic, but it's still metallic, even though it's a matte acrylic. And I better get my thing on there. So I just need a little brush, like a tiny little brush, so I can get some metallic in there. I want to take care of these little white areas where I got that white paint and just darken those up. And we can do that with a little of this metallic. I could use the brown. Maybe I'll use the brown metallic on that instead. Let's do that. All right, let's go ahead and do this instead. I'm not liking the gray on that, but this is a nice color. So this is Rich Espresso by Deco Art. And so I'm going to go ahead and let's just clean that off. And I've got a little paper towel here. So let's just add a little of this. I'll start down here because this dries. So I'm just going to kind of dab it in so it doesn't look too perfect, right? But I want to cover up that white but keep that definition where we had the ink. So I'm just going along kind of the edges here. It'll give it just a little bit of shimmer and a little more definition, which I think is nice. And then while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of metallic to the stamen of I don't know. I actually thought about maybe painting out. I might do some diamond glaze on the label as well. But I'm just going to put a little touch of metallic in here, and we'll see. It just gives you just a little bit of shimmer there. So we're going to go ahead and continue just around here, just kind of going around those edges. Now that I'm going around it, I see that I got a lot more white paint on the edge than I thought I did initially. And then we'll just dry brush a little of the bronze along the rim and the handle. So I'm just dabbing, not being, too precious about it, but you can see it just gives it a little bit more definition on here. Okay. You'll be proud of me. I even got out my greenery so we can fill it with some greenery here when we're done. I want to go over that pewter that I did, and we'll cover that up. Yeah, I like the brown so much better. I love this paint. Okay. There's so much you could do. You could glaze. We got a little piece that isn't down here, so I'm going to do that. Push that down. Okay. And then I'll just go over this with that. And then we're almost done with this bit. Just going around the edge. Put my hand in that. Almost done with this. I get so quiet when I do this to you. So, yeah, I've got a little lifting over here, so I'll take care of that before we're all done. Okay, so we've just kind of gone around that and given it a little bit, and we put a little bit of metallic in there. So let's go ahead and continue that metallic just a little bit. I'm going to use just one of these little makeup triangles and dab some off, and then we'll just do a little bit of dry brushing just on the raised parts of the handle and on the inside and the top. So just a little bit of shimmer, not the whole thing, but so I'm not pushing it down into the weave. Okay, and now we'll just do a little bit. We'll just do a little on the handle, just a little bit. So it's not completely full, painted in. And then we'll just do a little on the edge here. And so I'm not sure if you can see that, but it does give just, I don't know, it just gives it a little extra something, right? Okay, so the thing I'm trying to figure out is, do I leave well enough alone, or do I do a little diamond glaze or not? What do you guys think? Should we do a little diamond glaze, or should we just leave it as is? I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know. If anybody's still here, I'm thinking, I kind of like the look of this, but I really love how diamond glaze pops, but I'm also a little bit, I've got like this postage over, and I don't want to miss out on that. So maybe I'll just look at it a little bit longer, but let's go ahead and get our greens, and I'll show you. I have these little picks. I'm going to have some of these picks on the Whatnot sale too. But now we just have this really pretty little basket. I'm going to move this out so we can see, and I'll hold it up for you before we go. I think I'll do, I don't think I necessarily have to have 3, but I'm such an odd numbers person. So when it comes to this, so I don't know. So I'll do this and we'll just do a third one and then we'll see what we think. Okay. So this is our basket and I'm going to look at it, Sheila, and see. I love a little diamond glaze, but I'm not really sure. I think this has just a really pretty little, I'm going to come up here. I think this has like just a really pretty little vintagey look to it, just the way that it is. And I like it with these greens. I'll take you're working hard. Thanks, Dawn. I appreciate it. So anyway, I think I kind of like the vintagey feel of this. And I'm not really sure that it needs the diamond glaze. I think that the red point setup pops enough that you get it. And then it's just got that subtle little bronze thing on there. So anyway, yeah, so that is our last little sneaking in of creative time before Thanksgiving. And so thank you, Dawn and Sheila. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If anybody's watching on replay, thank you for that. And I just want to wish you all the happiest, peaceful, delicious, relaxing, wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Look for the Whatnot link coming. I'll post that on Friday. And thank you, Sheila. I'm so glad. And thank you so much for being with me as always. And I just wish you well. I'll see you after the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you too. Dawn, Sheila, everybody. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.